There are foods that people avoid because they already know they are unhealthy. Soda, candy, fast food, fried junk, ultra-processed snacks. Those are the obvious ones. But the real problem is that many people are not being damaged by the obvious foods anymore. They are being damaged by foods that wear a healthy costume. Foods that sit in the refrigerator, in the pantry, and in the shopping cart with words like natural, whole, plant-based, light, fit, or sugar-conscious, while quietly pushing the body in the wrong direction. I am Edu Rodriguez, a pharmacist, biochemist, and health educator, and today I want to talk to you about 7 foods and products that can quietly damage your metabolism, even though many people still believe they are healthy. And when I say damage metabolism, I am not just talking about making it slow. I am talking about making the body less flexible, more insulin resistant, more inflamed, and more likely to store energy instead of using it well. Because that is what many people do not understand. A damaged metabolism is not simply a lazy metabolism. It is often a metabolism that has become very efficient at surviving on less while storing more. The fuel is there, but the cells are not using it properly. The body gets stuck in a pattern of high insulin, unstable glucose, increased fat storage, more hunger, more cravings, and less access to real steady energy. That is why so many people feel tired, hungry, inflamed, and frustrated even when they think they are eating better. The first food in this conversation is fruit juice. This surprises many people because juice still carries a health halo. It comes from fruit, so people assume it must be good. But juice is not the same as fruit. When you eat the whole fruit, you get fiber, chewing, fullness, and a slower metabolic response. When you drink the juice, especially in a large amount, most of that protective structure is gone. What reaches the body is a much more concentrated sugar load, especially fructose. And that matters because the liver has to deal with that fructose. When this happens often, especially through liquid sugar, it can support fatty liver, worsen insulin resistance, and contribute to visceral fat. Many people replace soda with juice and believe they solve the problem, but in metabolic terms, the difference is often much smaller than they imagine. I am not saying fruit is bad. I am saying juice is not the same thing as fruit, and your body knows the difference. The second big issue is seed oils. These oils became deeply embedded in the modern food system and were sold for years as heart-friendly and modern. But in real life, they show up in dressings, sauces, snacks, chips, crackers, frozen foods, restaurant meals, and countless ultra-processed products. I am talking about oils like soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, and similar refined oils used again and again in industrial cooking. The problem is not only that they exist, the problem is the amount, the processing, the oxidation, and the inflammatory environment they help create. These oils go through refining, heat, bleaching, deodorizing, and often reheating. Over time, they contribute to a dietary pattern that makes insulin resistance, inflammation, and metabolic confusion much worse. Replacing that pattern with extra virgin olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds in their natural form, and real food makes a huge difference. The third product is oat milk, especially the industrial kind that looks modern, clean, and healthy. A lot of people switch to oat milk thinking they were doing something lighter and more metabolic friendly. But many versions are basically a starch-based drink, and starch still turns into glucose. So depending on the product, the person may be starting the day with something that spikes blood sugar much more than expected. And when that happens early in the day, it often sets the tone for the rest of the day. Blood sugar rises, then drops. Hunger returns. Cravings come back. Energy gets unstable. Mental clarity becomes inconsistent. This does not mean every plant milk is bad. It means composition matters, added sugar matters, total carbohydrate load matters, and many unsweetened coconut or macadamia options may be metabolically more stable than a product built around processed starch. The fourth one is agave nectar. This one is especially tricky because it is often placed next to maple syrup and honey, which makes it seem like some kind of natural upgrade. But one of the biggest problems with agave is how high it is in fructose. And again, excess fructose is not a small issue. It places a burden on the liver, encourages fatty liver, worsens insulin resistance, and supports abdominal fat storage. A lot of people get confused because agave may look less dramatic in terms of immediate blood sugar response, but that does not make it friendly for the metabolism. The liver still has to deal with it, and that internal burden matters. So using agave as if it were a smart sweetener can become a very quiet metabolic trap. The fifth product is commercial kombucha. I know kombucha has a strong health reputation because it is fermented and often associated with gut health. But many bottled kombuchas sold in stores are loaded with sugar. That changes everything. The person buys something that sounds probiotic and functional, but actually takes home a sweet drink that still pushes blood sugar up and keeps cravings alive. I am not saying kombucha itself is automatically bad. I am saying the industrial version needs careful label reading, because when fermentation is shortened and too much sugar remains in the final product, the result is very different from the image on the label. And for people already dealing with insulin resistance, cravings, bloating, or unstable energy, that matters a lot. The sixth item is protein powder, or more specifically, low-quality protein powders with a lot of fillers. I am not against protein. Protein is extremely important, but many products sold as fitness tools are full of ingredients that turn them into ultra-processed metabolic messes. Some contain things like maltodextrin, flavor systems, cheap fillers, sweeteners, and unnecessary additives that turn something that should support the body into something that still stimulates insulin, cravings, and overconsumption. A lot of people think they are drinking pure protein when, in reality, they are taking in a processed formula with more marketing than real nutritional value. When the foundation of the diet is strong, with eggs, fish, meat, plain yogurt, cheese in context, and real whole food protein, that is usually a much better base than depending on powders that are carrying a lot of hidden problems. And then we come to the seventh issue, which is industrial starches hiding inside packaged foods. This group is very deceptive because it often does not even look like sugar. It comes with technical names and a neutral appearance, used to thicken, stabilize, add texture, or improve shelf life. This is where ingredients like maltodextrin, modified starch, modified food starch, and highly processed corn derivatives come in. The problem is that many of these ingredients behave metabolically like fast sugar, but because they do not taste sweet, people consume them in larger amounts without noticing. They show up in sauces, snacks, supplements, powders, light products, fit products, drinks, and countless other processed foods. So the person thinks they are not eating much sugar because they are not eating dessert, but they are still taking in a constant flow of ultra-processed starch that keeps glucose unstable and insulin high. And that is where metabolism starts getting trapped. More glucose exposure, more insulin, less access to stored fuel, more fat storage, more cravings, more fatigue, more belly fat, and eventually the person starts blaming age, genetics, hormones, or lack of discipline, when in reality they are being quietly sabotaged every day by products wearing a healthy disguise. What I really want you to understand is this: metabolic damage does not happen only through obvious junk food. It also happens when you build your daily routine around products that look healthy but still push inflammation, insulin resistance, liver overload, and unstable glucose. That silent accumulation is what slowly steals your energy, your metabolic flexibility, and your ability to use fuel efficiently. The good news is that the opposite path also exists. When you reduce juice and choose whole fruit more often, when you replace refined oils with more stable and natural fats, when you start reading labels more carefully, when you question ultra-processed plant drinks, when you stop putting problematic sweeteners on a pedestal, when you pay attention to sugar and kombucha, when you become more selective about supplements, and when you start avoiding industrial starches, your metabolism begins to breathe again. This is not a one-day miracle. It is a reconstruction. And that reconstruction starts when the body finally stops receiving confusing signals all day long. More real food, less disguised product, more physiology, less marketing, more stability, less metabolic chaos. If this content helped you, stay here with me on Edu Health Tips and tell me in the comments which of these foods or products still shows up most often in your routine today.